these planks, the scaffolding boards rather, they weigh a ton because they're soaked with water. But just going to make myself a nice little platform here and get ready to go. I've got the string line out and marking my points for the handrail, so I can cut a nice straight edge for the handrail. It's just easier to do it with the string line and then just use the square. So I've got this string line nice and tight, but I've got to give it a little ping, and now just slide the square up to it, real careful, and that should be so accurate. I spent a little while setting it to 90 degrees on the base plate, and it's so accurate, it's just ridiculously good. So it's easy enough to cut through these posts with a nice sharp blade, but I can only get 3 sides on this particular cut on this post because I can't stand around the other side. So I've got to finish this up with a handsaw, and that's easy enough. Beautiful job. So the weather's picking up, it's beautiful. Edge of this post needs routing. Just take the sharp edge off with a small round over router on there. At the top here I want to just turn the router around so I don't run over the top edge, so I get a nice flat joint between the top side of the post and the underside of the handrail. I've got the undersides of this to do. I've got all the underside of the joists and all the remaining posts, but I'll focus on the posts first and get these done. Just run over it with the orbital with 80 grit is enough. Tidy things up with a bit of hand sandpaper on the round over edge. So I'm fitting the handrail on the top of this. The client doesn't want any fixing shown through the top, so no plugs or anything like that. So I've got to fix from underneath, but most of these will be hidden anyway, and I've got a little bit of leeway. I can put 1 or 2 plugs in, but not over the top. So this is quite an interesting method I've used here to line everything up. Just clamp the square onto the post where I want to cut, and then find the level. Obviously I've got to mark this square both sides using the square, not just the level. An easy way to work out the handrail size is to put them on top of the stringer and then just mark the angle going down. I'm kind of stuck on how to do this, fit this handrail, and rather than put tenons in, I've used the biscuit joiner and what we might call steel tenons, 100mm by 5mm stainless steel screws, two of, and the biscuit, and that should be enough to hold that. So it's even easier. This one just straight screw through, and yeah, that's good enough. That's good as gold, strong enough. I love this saw. It's fantastic, and cutting with this is always a pleasure. I bought this so many years ago now. It's almost 20 years ago, and it's still really, really tip-top condition. I'm routing the edges off these posts here, the spindles for the handrails. Not the handrails, the railings that go under the handrails. And I'm just going to put this is to help fit the handrail into the bottom stretcher. You'll see later what I'm trying to explain now. Before I put all this together, I'm going to give it a really good sand up, make sure it's absolutely sweet, very smooth, no sharp edges or anything like that, no rough spots. Yeah, it's going to look the business. So I'm screwing this together now through the top part of the railing first, and then I'm going to fit it into the bottom half. Now, I don't realise this yet, but I've made pretty much the biggest mistake doing this. It's completely round back to front, and I've caused myself a right headache. Of course, now I've got to fit every single spindle into the base frame and in the first go. So I've got to get it all in there, clamped up, clamped down, and then start screwing it down. So, and I've got approximately 5 minutes before that glue starts setting. I won't set for good, but I don't want it setting, as I said before, I don't want to set outside the joint. So, in case you hadn't gathered, that was me in panic mode. There's like a right way and a wrong way to build this frame, and I discovered the wrong way first. Quality workmanship at its finest. Well, I'm going to carry on getting over it now. It's not the end of the world, but that glue just sets so fast when you don't want it to. I thought that fitting these railings would be the easy part, bit of good fun. I was looking forward to it. I thought once those are in, the job will start looking great. It turns out that actually fitting these in is really tricky. There's no leeway on the railings at all. They have to be tight fit. There's no gap or anything like that, so there's no easy way to fit them in. You just got to slide them in and maneuver them into the right place. Yeah, and it's a real tricky one. Only 6 more to go. It says it's going to stop raining at 9 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock and it has stopped raining, but it's still definitely not in the clear. So I don't want to spend an hour setting up tools just to put them all away again. Let's have a quick look around. Very nice. The railing I put in, that's the railing I put in on Friday, and I've got to build all the rest of the railings. Ooh. A little bit wobbly here. On Friday I made a mistake with the assembly process on the railings. I had 2 choices of assembling that one and I picked the wrong choice. So, such is life, that's what happens. But anyway, while I'm waiting for the weather to make up its mind, I'm going to have a cup of coffee and I'm going to mark out the railings, because I can do that under shelter without getting too wet. Alright, let's do it. Back on with fitting the railings, and this one is equally as difficult and awkward as the other one, the first one. There's no room for manoeuvre. It's really tight fit. It's got to be that way. No other 2 ways about it. It's got to be that way. And here we go. The highlight of the video. In fact, probably the highlight of all my videos.
just how smoothly it went. I never had so much trouble fitting something, you know? Well, I have, but...
So fitting the railings without the handrail is actually seems to go a little bit easier. It's still tricky. So at this point, for instance, where I'm screwing up underneath, I can't really tighten this down because, as you probably would work out, that it's going to push it up out of position. So I'm just going to be real careful and just cinch the screws down and then move on to fitting that top rail. And there it is, in there, looking the business. Only about 3 more to go, I think. I'm preparing this spindle to fit into the routed mortise on the railing. What I need to do is just take a small shave off with the chisel and then just slightly rub down the round over, and that should give me a really nice tight fit. I've been a bit particular about how I put the glue in. I want the glue to spread out into the edges of the joint, but I don't want it to expand too far beyond the joint and give me a massive cleanup job to do. I'm using 4 by 100 mils stainless steel screws, but you have to be a bit careful not to over tighten the stainless steel screws and snap the heads.
So I started out this morning with one little job on the table that I was working on. And next thing you know, I've got delivery. I've got 3 jobs I can complete today, which is fantastic. But this is the chaos I'm dealing with. Literally not enough room, even in this yard. Rubbish, well, tools and timber everywhere. 600 kg is about, I think it said something, it's close on 600 kg of lifting today, so it's not bad going. It's no wonder I don't need the gym at the moment.
I had to wait for the second delivery before I had all the materials to fit the joists. But I've got them now and they're fitting just nicely. I need a little gentle persuasion. And by this last one, I've got to say, I resorted to a little extra tappage with the hammer. But don't worry, it's nowhere near as bad as it looks.
There we go. I just forgot to press record. Fitting those last ones. What a shame. But that's it. All the railings in. Got a handrail on this side to do. All the railings in on this side. And all the joists in. Looking ready to go, you know? So I made several comments about it being ready to go and almost finished. But actually I've got quite a lot of work to do. This thing's so beautiful. Perfect.